What up? What up? Welcome back. Good to see everybody. Alrighty. So, we're going to cover all of the updates, what's going on with this Long Island serial killer. This is breaking news. They've been looking for this guy now for a while. This is even bigger news for the state of New York and all the people that were affected there, all those families. Um, and this story just keeps getting more interesting. Apparently, his wife, she's returned home and she's interacting with the media. At some point, she's really upset. She's allowing them to film. She's yelling at them not to talk with her. So we're going to look at that stuff. Real curious to get your opinion on all of that. But first, we're going to look at all of the updates that I gathered here. That way, when we start the discussion, we'll have everything that we need. Let's see which one I want to start with. All right, here. This video is about 6 minutes long. It's titled Massive Amount of Evidence Recovered from Gilgo Beach. And for some reason, I think they interview the district attorney here. So let's take a look.
Their nearly 2-week-long search at the house of suspect Rex Heuermann is now over. Heuermann was arrested on July 13th after a decades-long investigation into the killings. You can see him here with investigators. He is the main suspect in 4 murders. He has pleaded not guilty to all charges. Suffolk County District Attorney Ray Tierney says he will now prosecute the case himself. And tonight, we're lucky to be joined by the DA tonight. So, District Attorney, thank you for joining Top Story. I want to start with your decision to personally prosecute this case. Why?
Thanks for having me, Tom. You know, it was primarily came from the fact that, I met the victims while I was campaigning. I told them that we were going to give the case the best chance we could to solve it. And then I just was involved with the case through the grand jury. And, at this point, I participated in the grand jury, and, myself and a handful of assistant district attorneys in the office know the case the best.
You've seen a lot of the evidence that has come in. I know you're still gathering some evidence, but as far as what you've seen, what's come across your desk, what's the single biggest piece of evidence that you've come across?
I think it's a combination of a number of things, but the DNA evidence, I think, is, very powerful.
Okay, and then we've been seeing the video, the photos of investigators at the Heuermann home there on Long Island, the family home. You've been in the backyard, you've been inside the house. I wanted to see if you could share with us some of the stuff that has been located there or anything that's helped in your investigation.
Well, Tom, we've executed a number of search warrants in the case, including at the residence, and we've gathered a lot of evidence. We're looking for everything from tangible items of evidence to blood, biologic evidence, DNA. So we really need to just, categorize that evidence and then forensically examine it, and it's going to take some time.
There's been a lot of reporting that the victims, unfortunately, in this case, after they were killed, they were dismembered and then put in those burlap sacks.
See, I didn't know that. That was news to me. Did you guys know that? I was a little bit confused whether or not that had taken place. I just heard rumors about the dismemberment part. What about you guys? What's up, Eddie Haskell? It appears the wife has no other place to go. I would go anywhere but that house if possible. Yeah, according to her, I pulled a couple articles. So we're going to start with some videos and then a couple articles where they quote her. I guess they started a GoFundMe. The neighbors are sending over care packages. We're going to take a closer look at all that stuff.
Is it your belief that he did some of these crimes and the chopping up, if you will, of these bodies at his home?
Well, there's no evidence either way to point that the murders were actually committed either in the house or outside the house. I think with regard to the DNA evidence on 2 of the bodies, there have been hairs recovered that the DNA's profiles are consistent with both the defendant, and 2 hairs are consistent with his wife.
Does that lead you to believe something happened in the house?
Well, that could be the case, or there's something called transfer DNA, where if you just live with someone, their hair and your hair could get on your person, and then if you contact with a third person, both of those hairs could come in contact with that third person. There's
been some reporting that you guys located a soundproof room inside of that house. Is that correct?
So the defendant had, close to 300 guns, a little under 300 weapons in the house, and he did have a gun safe, which was a room like a block cement room with a metal door. That was reported that it was soundproof. I don't believe it's actually soundproof.
But let me ask you, when you describe a gun safe, people think of gun safes as, maybe something with a wheel or something you open up, but that you don't necessarily walk into. You're talking about a safe so big a human could walk in there?
Yes. And I think that you would need something of that size given the amount of weapons he had, upwards of 283 guns.
And then would multiple people fit in there? Are we talking about that kind of size where
This guy's like pressing, like, come on, man, tell me what else was he doing in this thing? Come on.
he could walk in there essentially, theoretically, with a victim's body? Is it that big?
Potentially, but I mean, by the time we got there, the room was cluttered. So again, there's no evidence either way to say.
There have been cadaver dogs at the house that we've seen. Have the cadaver dogs found anything?
The cadaver dogs have not found anything. There were also dogs that sniff out electronic devices, and they indicated on a number of electronic.
There's a close-up on some of the equipment they've been using. Is that radar, sonar, something?
Devices which were recovered.
They found, were they hidden? Were these electronic devices hidden?
I mean, I think that the house was cluttered, so they were in and amongst the clutter, but they certainly assisted in the recovery of those items. This
is kind of interesting. I've never heard this. The dogs were used to recover electronic devices. I'm going to assume they were cell phones?
Cell phones or smart devices, computers, laptops, the use of dogs. There's currency sniffing dogs, there's electronic device sniffing dogs, and there's cadaver dogs, just to name a few. It depends upon the training of the dog.
I want to put up for our viewers the victims who unfortunately lost their lives in this horrific serial killer case. And there's that fourth victim, right, that we're looking at right here. Maureen Barnes, I want to ask you, do you have evidence? Do you see a pattern? Is there anything you can tie Rex Heuermann to this fourth victim?
Yeah, I thought that was interesting. That was the first time I ever heard of that. I wonder if that's the same kind of like bomb sniffing dog, or like what is the dog sniffing out? But yeah, that was news to me. I wonder what it is. Maybe it's the lithium. I'm not sure. But yeah, very interesting.
So these four women are known as the Gilgo Four, and the manner of their disappearance and their death are very strikingly similar. We started our investigation centering around these four. We took the case down a little early because we were afraid of the investigation being public, as well as we were concerned we had safety concerns. The investigation with regard to the murder of Maureen Brainerd Barnes is continuing, and once we complete that, we'll have more comments on that.
Have you seen anything that has tied that case into the other three?
I mean, I think there are striking similarities, and we're going to let that investigation play out. And at the end of that, we'll have further comment.
Finally, there was that moment where we saw detectives, investigators arrest Rex Heuermann on the streets of Midtown Manhattan. Can you share with us those moments, what he said, and anything he said since then?
So, he was represented by counsel. So, I'm not privy to those statements, but I can tell you that at that Midtown Manhattan arrest, the defendant certainly did seem surprised.
Their nearly 2-week-long search at the house of suspect Rex Heuermann is now over.
Very interesting. So I thought that was a great little news clip here. NBC. Let's see, what was the title of that? Massive amount of evidence recovered from Gilgo Beach murder suspect's home as police end search. Yeah, so there was a lot of new information within that report. So I thought I'd share it with you guys. Here's what he was referring to. Rex walking in handcuffs. What's up, Colette? Beach Ferry, Purdue. V. Marie D. True crime and other stuff. And everybody else. Frank Meister. Metal Mama, what's up? Boston Christian, GP, Purdue, and Beth Gonzalez. You made it. Shout out to Boston. And Boston. Boop. Here's his wife. We got a couple. Got this one off of Daily Mail. Richard L. Harbis.
About your dad, anything?
How is your mom and sister doing?
How are you holding up? How's the dog doing?
Yeah, what a nightmare. So, is this his son from another mother? Is that what's going on? 'Cause I think he has a different last name. I don't know what's going on with that. Thank you, Beach Fairy. I think I have another one here.
Miss Ellerup, we know that it's.
Don't talk to me. Don't even say a word.
She said, "Don't talk to me."
Yeah, you want to take pictures? Go ahead.
She said, "If you want to take photographs and take pictures, go ahead. Just don't talk to me."
No, well, I'm sorry. We just.
Don't talk to me. No.
All right. This one is titled Rex Heuermann's Odd Name Drop Links Him to Mystery Caller in Gilgo Beach Documentary. So I think we're going to hear from the documentarian himself here.
Is Josh Zeman. I'm the director of an 8-part series.
I think he said his name is Josh Zeman.
Is Josh Zeman. I'm the director of an 8-part series that premiered back in 2017 called The Killing Season, which was a real in-depth look at the unsolved Long Island serial killer case and how that connected to a whole bunch of other cases of unsolved sex workers and their murders around the country. So we got a call from an individual, and this person said, I think I know why the Long Island serial killer, who he is and why he hasn't been killing. And he went on to tell us about, he said he thinks he committed suicide and his name was Bissett. And Bissett was a guy who did commit suicide out in Riverhead. He had been a landscaper, or owned a big landscaping company and part of an aquarium. And yes, he did kill himself. And people had looked into him because he had sold burlap bags. So this Bissett was a name that came up a lot.
I wonder if that's where he purchased his bags, was from this guy, so that he could try to tie it back to him later on.
And he said, yeah, he killed himself, and that's why I think he stopped killing. And we didn't really think anything of it. This guy also said that he was connected to the police, but a lot of people say they're connected to the police, and that's how they get this privy information. When Rex Heuermann was arrested we found it to be very interesting. We know that he liked
Oh, that's her
call
son.
a lot of people.
Eddie Haskell says no, that's her son. It's not. Okay, yeah, that makes sense because his last name, he has his father's last name. Duh. Thank you.
Whether it was calling to taunt the victims, whether it was calling, all these other people. Somebody on Reddit said they think listening to one of the messages that was left on an answering machine by somebody, that they think it might be Rex Heuermann, that maybe he called us and we were speaking to him. I didn't really
That's
think
crazy.
anything of it. People like to make a lot of connections where there are none.
Oh
What I
yeah.
did find interesting is there was a young woman who came forward saying that she had a date with Rex Heuermann, and on the date he asked her if she's into true crime.
Yeah, we have that. Hold on. I think we have the voicemail. Here it is. Let's take a quick listen.
This is Rex from the BNI group. I actually heard you are no longer part of the group. I still wanted to talk to you. I had a question for you. I also wanted to touch base. So if you get an opportunity, you can always find me
Yikes.
at the office.
Oh man. So that's really creepy. So they're going to do a voice analysis and comparison.
He asked her about the Long Island serial killer, and he said to her that he thinks it's the same person, this Bissett guy. When I heard the name Bissett and that Rex Heuermann had said to her Bissett, that suddenly made me question whether it really could be him. Back in 2017, we were really the only
Thank you.
people really like pushing hard and investigating the case. And so
yeah, they're super
if he's
pissed,
out
Amy.
there looking for information, we know through.
Amy says, I consider the wife and the kids the forgotten victims. I feel for them. Yeah, the neighbors are kind of holding it down, and we'll finish up on that on a more of a positive note.
His Google searches, that he was looking up documentaries, that he was looking up podcasts, that he was very invested in knowing what was going on in the case and knowing how close the police were. It really wouldn't surprise me that if he suddenly saw a post on Backpage, and we also know that he was still actively soliciting sex workers, it wouldn't surprise.
Yeah, one of the reporters, Beach Ferry, said, oh, it's kind of like you're not gonna talk to me. How's the dog? Being all sarcastic. It's that kind of shit,
Surprise me that he saw our ad on Craigslist. It wouldn't surprise me that he would call and just kind of try to throw us off his tracks. That he seems to have done that quite a bit. And the fact that he mentioned to us this guy Bissett, and the fact that he mentioned to other people Bissett.
Wow, imagine that.
Like that was a script that he had about why the killer wasn't killing again, and who
The killer's using like social media and things like that to control the narrative. Wow. This dude is diabolical. So I guess she filed for divorce. She has a GoFundMe. So that's his daughter and his stepson. I don't know. Crazy. Yeah, we're going to read some articles and some quotes from her. Some of the things that she tells these reporters makes it seem as if she's seen some pretty awful things. Kind of curious to what she's referring to. Damn, Miss Kitty. Sounds like your husband would kick him in the head. Hopefully he can reach that high. Let's see, like 6'4". Just kick him in the nuts. Or in the stomach. Joe Rogan style. I wonder if this is a neighbor here. Thank you, Beach Ferry. Oh, we have a sponsor for today's live stream. Thank you. Metal Mama Michelle will be sponsoring today's live stream. Thank you so much. Another fellow Phoenician. Oh, yeah, 6'3". Yeah, he's good. It's a karate kick to the face. Looks like a neighbor showing some support. TTM, I heard the burlap sack is really the camouflage net and never really was burlap. Anyone hear that too? Not sure. I heard it was burlap sacks. But Rex called it like a burlap net when he was speaking to that woman. The one he left that voicemail for. Oh, yeah, she looks beat down. She's irritated. It's burlap. It's the kind for hunting, not for gardening. It is also camouflage. Yeah, I heard people use it in that tall, dark, like grayish, yellowish, kind of wheat colored grass for duck hunting. So I have a feeling that's what they were doing. They were letting them loose out there in that field and they're all hiding in that burlap. Just a theory. Yeah, I also heard that, Miss Kitty. Yeah, it would be perfect camouflage. If you were going to dump the bodies out there, It would be perfect camouflage because if you dug a hole and then you were flying over the top, you would see a like kind of like a bald spot on the ground. But apparently with these burlap sacks, they were only able to find them with these search dogs, and the tall grass was growing through the burlap. So I don't know if that was strategic or if it just happened that way, but apparently the neighbor sent a care package, and this was the note in there. Dear neighbors, we are thinking of you through this difficult time. If there's anything we can do for you, please let us know. And I think this is the officer that delivered it for the neighbor. So, yeah, she said in another article, she was quoted as saying she was extremely depressed. Hey, Frederica. Good to see you. Hey, Willow. What's up? Oh, yeah. Looks like they're going through the care package here. Some pasta. All right, we're about at the halfway point. Let's go to the articles that I pulled for you guys. Let's hear from his wife. Then we're going to hear from some of his old classmates. Get this, um they had their reunion like I don't know, I think it was like a week after. Imagine the talk at that reunion, at the class reunion. I mean, that's probably all they talked about. Remember Crazy Rex? I told you. I told you. This one's from the New York Post. Gilgo Beach suspect Rex Heuermann estranged wife breaks silence on sheer depression of what I saw. July 28th, Emily Crane. The estranged wife of accused Gilgo Beach serial killer Rex Heuermann broke her silence Friday as she alluded to the depression and trauma she has been subjected to in the wake of his shocking arrest. Right, Willow? Yeah, imagine. The stuff about the dolls was kind of creepy. I was hoping to hear more about that, but it might just be an inflated story. Still interesting. See if anything comes of it. Yeah, I agree, GP. Shocked and devastated and depressed. Hey, what's up, Grizz? Good to see you. What's going on? Asa Ellerup, who filed for divorce earlier this week, was spotted outside a couple's Massapequa Park home early Friday for the second day running after investigators ended an exhaustive search of the property. And here's a quote: "If you want to take pictures, go ahead. I'm okay with it. She told reporters, according to the Daily Mail, "If you want to stand up here and wait for something, I have a lot of work to do." She also said, "The sheer depression of what I saw was enough trauma," Ellerup continued. It wasn't immediately clear what Heuermann's estranged wife was referring to. So, what do you guys think she meant by that? Of what I saw, the sheer depression of what I saw. What do you think they showed her? Do you think they used that whole like shock and awe approach during her interview where they kind of slide images across the table? Wondering maybe if she knew something at first, possibly. Yeah, it's always good to see you, Willow. Glad you can make this one, at least. Bubble Pixie, welcome. She does not sound like somebody who immigrated to New York. She sounds like a native with that accent. Yeah, I'm not sure what her full story is, but I am curious. I know she was going back and forth out of the country, right, to Iceland. When asked by a reporter Friday afternoon if she would be interested in a GoFundMe page that one of her friends had apparently been trying to set up for her, Ellerup responded, "Yeah, it would be very helpful." Ellerup, who sat on her front porch throughout the afternoon, appeared to be wearing the same blue jeans and green t shirt she had worn the day earlier when she screamed at reporters and flipped off a camera. Yeah, kindness always wins. Understanding. Yeah, where was the safe? Not exactly sure either. I think maybe they have a basement. What's up, Vincina? Good to see you. At one point on Friday, Ellerup's two children, 26-year-old Victoria Heuermann and Christopher Sheridan, 33, joined her on the porch. Macedonia and Duncan LLP, the firm representing Ellerup in the divorce, said last week that she and her family were going through a devastating time in their lives. Neither Ellerup nor her children have visited Heuermann in the 2 weeks he's been jailed, the Suffolk County Sheriff's Office confirmed to the Post. The family resurfaced at the home after detectives concluded a full-scale search of the property earlier this week. The fruitful search also uncovered a massive walk-in vault at the home, authorities disclosed. Heuermann, 59, was arrested July 13th over the deaths of 3 women. Yeah, I'm not quite sure because I didn't even know that there was like dismemberment. I thought, yeah, I'm still very confused on all of that. I'm not sure how they found these victims, what their conditions were, why do they feel like some aren't related and some are. I'm sure it has to do with that, maybe. Yeah, and I believe this is something local, something from the East Coast. Yeah, NewYorkMagazine.com under their portion titled Intelligencer. That's where I got this one. It was very interesting, so I wanted to go ahead and share it with you guys. What a crazy word, huh? Murderabilia. Murderabilia. It's interesting. Yeah, GP, that's what I was thinking. For some reason, I pictured like a detective sliding an image over, like, look, this is what your husband did. Tell us what you know. She's like, oh my gosh. All right. News 12 reports that items associated with the alleged killer, like his 1977 junior high school yearbook, are already being listed for sale online. I've been dealing with the murderabilia industry for over 20 some odd years, and one thing I've learned is that when who is attached or charged with serial killings, items will be put up for sale, explained Crime Stoppers Director for Victim Services Andy Cahan, who works to stop the practice. Yeah, it seems weird. Former classmates of Rex Heuermann speak out. Several people who went to school with Rex Heuermann spoke to the New York Times about their memories of him. In their accounts, Heuermann is portrayed as a loner who was bullied at times. When I heard they arrested him, I was not surprised at all, said Don Ophuls, a healthcare executive who attended Berner High School with Heuermann from kindergarten through the end of high school. Heuermann attended Berner High School in the 1980s, which now serves as a middle school in the Massapequa School District. Ophuls continued, he was a recluse, very quiet. You just saw him as a guy by himself. He barely spoke. Actor Billy Baldwin, who attended the school along with his three famous brothers, expressed surprise at Heuermann's arrest, saying he didn't think he was so weird, so creepy, or so unusual that it would lead to something like this. John Parisi told the Times that Heuermann was everybody's punching bag, but that as he grew taller in high school, he became more intimidating. I was really scared of him. He was the type of guy, if he snapped, he could really hurt you, he said. He was disillusioned and he was misguided. You had to be very careful. And I think this next article is more of a continuation. See if I can catch him on the chat here. Bubble Pixie says, not changing clothes, they're experiencing shock. Yeah, that's what I seen. They're just like out of it. Like it's not real. Surreal. I hope she is clueless. I want to be empathetic towards her in particular. Yeah, and we've heard from a lot of family members that have gone through this as well. They kind of talk about how it's easy not to know. You know, these guys go through great lengths to make sure nobody knows, and they don't care about their family. They wear it, you know, they wear it like a cover. It's their camo. It's their camouflage. All right, this next article, Gilgo Beach murder suspect Rex Heuermann was an awkward loner who really scared his peers and got picked on a lot, former classmates say. I was really scared of him. He was the type of guy, if he snapped, he could really hurt you. John Parisi told the New York Times of the 59-year-old who was charged earlier this month with multiple counts of murder. He was disillusioned and he was misguided. You had to be very careful. Parisi continued, adding that the gangly adolescent was everybody's punching bag. He got picked on a lot. He would take it and walk away. I seen him push to his limit, Parisi recalled. Parisi remembered a specific incident when a then preteen Heuermann was singled out and set upon by cruel sixth grade classmates. Yeah, I wonder what's going on with his brother. There was a couple cases out of Atlanta. I think they recently cleared him of involvement in that. Apparently, they were found sex workers that were, I believe, dumped nearby each other, but not quite the same. Not the exact MO, but kind of similar. Yeah, it's those satanic people. They like that stuff. The creepier, the better. So, do you guys think he's going to confess or what? Holy jeez. Buried alive. That's awful. That's like up there with drowning and burning. Yeesh, that's it's a scary thought. Later, Purdue. Thanks for hanging out. Sure, I'll see you around. Yeah, I wonder if there's more than one. The last couple days they've been using the word conspiracy. So we're going to stay on top of this case and see how it unfolds. All right, let's continue on here with this article. The physical bullying stopped when a teacher intervened, he said, but students continued to make fun of Heuermann well into high school. He was a recluse, very quiet, another former classmate, Don Olfels, told the Times. When I heard they arrested him, I was not surprised at all. Fellow Burner alum John DeMacaulay recalled trying to recruit Heuermann into his friend's street hockey game to no avail. He just didn't want any part of it. He didn't want any part of sports, he said. He didn't want any part of anything. Didn't have the social skills to hold a conversation, just a very weird character. He had a mean streak in him. Heuermann was an outcast. Another childhood acquaintance, Dan Musto, agreed. Actor Billy Baldwin graduated from Burner alongside Heuermann in 1981 and also remembered him from middle school. He was a bit shy, a bit insecure, a bit uncomfortable. He told the outlet of his former classmate, I wouldn't say he was an outcast, but he struggled to fit in and to find his crowd. In yearbook photos, Heuermann appears as a tall, unassuming teen with diseveled hair, large glasses. One female classmate, however, previously alleged that he almost killed her with the misguided prank during a 1980 production of Arsenic and Old Lace. What the hell is that? Yeah, this case has a lot of tentacles. One female classmate. Oh, we already read that. According to Musto, everyone at school knew Heuermann had a difficult home life and frequently clashed with his father, particularly after he was allegedly busted for shoplifting. Why is he getting in trouble? He's fighting with his dad. It was common knowledge, he explained. Heuermann was 12 when his father died in 1975, according to the Times. He and his siblings, including his brother Craig, who later served time in prison for fatally running down a police captain while drunk and high, were raised by their mother Dolores, now 93. Still, Heuermann's unhappy childhood never elicited sympathy from his peers. That was just how it was at the time. You played the cards you were dealt, Ophuls shrugged. Heuermann's former classmates divulged their memories of him at the Berner High School class of 1983's 40th reunion, which took place at a pub just a few days after the bombshell arrest identified him as the prime suspect in the grisly Gilgo Beach murders. Wow. All right. We are pretty much out of time, so I want to spend the rest in the chat getting your guys' opinion. You know, what'd you think about how the media was treating his wife? What kind of vibes you were getting from them? What do you think they actually found in that walk-in safe? Like, what'd they find in that home? Hey, I found Jimmy Hoffa. What up? What up? Yeah, what is that, Willow? Arsenic and old lace. It's a classic play, huh? Really good, actually. I'm going to have to check that out. Arsenic and old lace. Yeah, misguided. Everything's misguided. Couple spinsters? What the hell's a spinster? All right, this is our 5-minute warning. Keep the music down a little bit. So I want to thank everybody who caught the live stream today. Thank you for participating in the chat. If you're not subscribed, I don't know why you're not, but it's all good. Consider subscribing. If you guys are catching the replay, leave a comment and hit the thumbs up on the way out. Don't be a scrub. Thank you, Beach Fairy. And there you have it. There's your poll. Will Rex Heuermann confess? 56% say no. 43% say yes. I don't know. I'm not sure yet. Thank you, Miss Kitty. Yeah, I think they said like 280 something. Cheers. Book 'em, Dano. Later, everybody. Have a great night. I'll see you next time.